Hello, you wonderful people out there in Maine and beyond. Well, man, counting down the show tomorrow. So I hope, actually, before I get in talking about my show, I hope Ian's show went really well on the radio. Unfortunately, I still can catch it hopefully, but that man worked extremely hard to get that show. Um, but I um I really I want to give mad props to that guy for I mean being in two bands with Ian, knowing how musical he is, his voice carrying a lot of power, a lot of opera based vocals. Ian does it all. He's a man of many talents. I would say his voice, to best describe it, is like a Swiss Army knife. So it's one tool, but it's a tool that he has where it can be anything he wants. So it definitely, he's got many tools built into one tool. Which many it's good to it's actually good to have like your voice as like your own instrument, because we can pull off harmonies, we can sing in key with whoever we're performing with. um Also, we can sing from the heart. The best channel singing is through your stomach, through your, what is it, your I would say your diaphragm is what they call it. I had to think of the word, but your diaphragm is really where that energy comes in. It's not so much right here where your throat is, because that's where, when I sing, because I mean I still have that habit of, instead of using this, sometimes I'll use my throat if I'm trying to hold a note, but it's actually really bad for your throat, because then your throat starts to become very like dry, and you definitely do not want to work out your throat more so, because the thing is, the air, really, the energy and and real, not so much the energy, but the it's coming out of you. So think of it as you're pedaling a bike right up a hill. You've got to use those. You got to use your legs to go up the hill. But again, it's not good to push your voice out. I mean, when the time comes, because that's the thing. It all depends upon what you're singing, maybe the key, but typically I tell people, I mean, yes, singing in key I would say it's best to sing in key with original music rather than a cover song. Those are things I've learned, is that you'll find your voice usually when you develop your own music. Yes, if you want to have a similar vocal pattern to certain singers that you idolize, or vocalists, it's good to do that too. Or if you're a backup singer for a band, and you're singing, I mean, there's also people that attend choir. You're singing with a group of people, um, which I know I have a lot of people in my life that have done choir in churches, and things like that. I've never done choir myself. Um, I was a man of wanting to like pursue my legacy into drums, which is really awesome. But so what I actually wanted to come on here to do is talk about the cover song I am leading on actually during because tomorrow, as I said, counts our band's last performance. So yeah, and when I say tomorrow's our last performance until the show, it's the last performance. um am I excited? I will say I this is my fourth year there, so I am excited. I know my parents are going. My old case manager is going. Um, and the person she works with, I'm hoping to see. We did hang up flyers for the show in Portland yesterday, so hopefully some of you have seen the flyers and are hopefully coming. But I know Tim took me and Ian out to go flyering yesterday. We hung up flyers for Ellen's show coming up in August, Ian show for last night, and the Pride Festival next Friday. And of course, the main flyer for the shows coming at Longfellow Square for this Longfellow Square for this month. But I'm very much glad that I will I mean, being the lead singer is a huge I originally took it as like, okay, I don't want to be lead, I want to do something else. But the thing is, a lot of the times, and really so much a life skill you're going to learn in music is that you're not always going to get the role you want. I will say you're going to get the roles in music that people are going to say, or actually, really, they know you can do it, meaning that they're not pushing, but they know you can have a bigger role if it's a role you don't want, because it's the same thing in a play. You're not always going to get the role you want. So instead of demanding a role and they provide you with a character in that play to be, you have to fit the character, practice your lines. I mean, my cousin does it, but when he gets sets home, when he goes home, like sometimes he doesn't even have to use his script to be the role in the play, meaning to rehearse his lines, which that's dedication right there because he's been doing it for so long. And for a lot of musicians is that sometimes you don't need the lyrics to sing a song. Is it hard to do? I would say if you've rehearsed the song, like all like if it's a song you like and you know the lyrics and you've been practicing it, then there's going to be that time where you don't I mean and you know it well, you know it without having to look at the lyrics, the printed sheet of lyrics, that skill that you're able to read it, or not have the lyrics in front of you but just sing it. But that's the thing with Ian that I've noticed is that Ian, when he knows a song, he will look it up on his phone, or if he's not super familiar with it, he will look up. But if it's a song he knows and he sings it. He doesn't need the lyrics in front of him. I mean, yes, he'll use his phone at times to look at the lyrics, but um Ian's really good about that, is like knowing where to come in. I mean, vocally and musically, he knows when to come in and then when the recording stops, you know. But Ian's very awesome in that way. But again, um, since one of the songs I'll be doing was a song I actually wanted to do, and it is happening. And it actually wasn't, so part of it was not my idea. I hadn't raised my hand. I mean, the idea was a bit stolen from another person because they were associating the song in Rocky, because they wanted to perform this because of seeing Rocky. Um, and that song is Eye of the Tiger. Um, and it is a song that I've had many past performances with. I would say I can count two other performances doing that song, maybe more. Um, those of you that probably are going to state to me, "Oh, it's a song that's a walk in the park for you. You can do this." I can do it, but the song has a super, and that's the thing, it's one of the many 80s rock songs that has a really long intro. Um but the thing is, as the singer, is what I have to realize are the bars in the song, meaning that bars are the sentences with the chorus, going along with the chorus and going along with the verses. In musical terms, they're called bars. Um, so a good way to think about it is, so instead of, because I know I will get a copyright violation if I play this song, so we're just gonna look at the lyrics. But so Eye of the Tiger, so the verse, so verse one has 8 bars. Um, and that's this thing. What's what people often, and this was something when I started Listen Up that I was also often very confused about. But I would say the more I've learned about chorus, so certain bars in chorus, so technically if a chorus repeats itself. So for example, since since the chorus starts out as, "It's the eye of the tiger," that's the core, that's the start of the chorus, and then it ends off with "the eye of the tiger." Don't. But the thing is, you would not count that as as six bars or seven. You wouldn't consider that 7 bars, because that's the thing. The eye of the tiger is part of the first line of the chorus, so that includes one. It's really when the chorus, where the sentences change, is when you would count that as bar 2 or bar 3. But compared to the verses, they change. The verses aren't the chorus. I will say the chorus, not chorus, the verses build up into the chorus. So, and that's the thing, is you don't want to use the same word or sentence, because the phrase "eye of the tiger," right? In the beginning, it's the eye of the tiger. At the end, it ends with the eye of the tiger. So that's the complete chorus. Um, but to know the bars between songs, between the verses and the choruses, that's really an indication of when to know to strike a song. Um, and that's the thing. This is a song I do remember. This is a song I will say I had that mindset of wanting to sing in the key of C like the original singer for Survivor. But that's the thing, singing in the key of C is a challenge at its peak. Because not only was this guy for Survivor one of the best vocalists, I mean, he knew how to sing and he was good. He could hit those C the he could hit those high notes no problem. No, I mean, but my approach for tomorrow and the performance for the show is channeling. So when I get to the chorus, is channeling all that energy, but also remembering that when you are doing a set list of songs that require different vocal structure, that's another thing to keep in the loop, is that if you have a high, I mean, if you're ending with a high energy song that has an extreme long intro, I I'm glad we're actually tackling the other songs before Eye of the Tiger. Um I will say the songs we will be going through are much easier than this one. You know when you're coming in and you know when you're going out. For me, a good theory about it is I'm gonna come up with a weird animal scenario. And this is something I often have learned, but it has to do, so it's really part of the animal kingdom, but I'm morphing it into reality. And it's a good way to think about anything negative that is non-relatable to music. It could be a living situation, it could be you didn't get your package on time. Or it could be something like you didn't eat all your dinner, you can't have dessert. Although my parents were surprised tonight that I had four pieces of steak, and they know I don't really hardly ever eat steak. Um, but really to break this down into a, I would say, not so much animal logic, but animal, I want to call it like animal metaphor or animal kingdom metaphorical relations to what we go through as people. But one of the things is that, as I said, it could be when you want to focus on the good things in life, you have to drain the negative energy, because if you don't, it's going to bother you. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get rid of at the show. But if you can channel anger in music, not too much anger, but balancing it with, this is what I'm about. Because you're the tiger, I'm the tiger. I'm not the wolf on Friday, I'm the tiger. So this is more of an earning opportunity, as I can go from wolf to a tiger. But a good way to think of it is that sometimes I will say we all have guilty pleasures of something that we do that might not work in our benefit. We do it because we enjoy it, but it's like, why did I eat that? Or why did I go through with that? I will say, living situations, habits, let them, let them, let them, I would say, let them dig and dig themselves down until, but that's the thing, you've got to, you until that time comes, you can focus on things like that only until, but not focusing when you have other things going on that, you know, especially when you're in a band. Bands are important because, I mean, as I know, you do not want to give your band or send any of your band members energy they don't want. For me, it's like buying something you don't need at the store, right? Like, say if I walked out with cranberry juice and I thought it was like a Shirley Temple soda, and I'm walking out, I pay for it, I'm like, God damn it, this is cranberry juice. I would drink it because I bought it, but I would be upset because it's not the drink. I thought it was something else. But a good animal metaphor to use is, in South America, there is a species of tapir. Now, tapir are oblivious. Now, this is what I know about tapirs, is that you do not want to have a pool party with a tapir. Not unless you want to swim in let's just say poopy water. But that's the thing, you don't want to plan a pool party with a tapir, because they will crap in there all the time. So you might have floaters in that pool with you. Tapirs are great animals. They love to socialize, but you don't want to take a tapir's offer up to go swimming. And there's two types of tapirs. There's the Malayan tapir, and then there's the is it the brown tapir from South America. I say the metaphor is if you want to have a shitty attitude, you might as well go attend the pool party with the tapirs, because they'll find many floaters for you to discover. But tapirs are notorious animals for pooping in their own pools. Now, I've even saw a zookeeper swim with a group of two tapirs, female and male, but his GoPro slipped off his hat into the shitty water. So he's covering his nose, putting his head down, and reaching down to get his GoPro. Now, thankfully, the GoPro had a waterproof case and was waterproof, but if you don't want to have bad behavior, don't swim with tapirs. Simple as that. Tapirs are great animals, they're very social, but if they ask you with their little elephant noses, come in the pool, let's take a dip, I'd like, no, not in shitty water. Not in poopy water, that is. But it is it is a
Mom,
yeah.
what'd you do?
What did I do?
You got some more clothes, you know,
Yep.
out in the kitchen.
But that's one of the biggest things is when you're dealing with stuff at home, living situation related stuff, you got to put that aside and chase it away until it's time to or at least chase it away until it's time to face it. I would say if you don't want to swim and tapir poopy infested waters, you can decline the invite from the tapir. But I'll tell you guys kind of a really funny story. But there's an ice cream place in Freiburg called Froggies, and they have it's their own. So it's one of their like special ice creams they have there, but it's called Dirty Water. They named it Dirty Water. And I will say I've read what it is, and it just, oh my god. I mean, that's the thing. And when I think of it, I'm like, who came up with that filthy, filthy name? Just, I know it's just a name for an ice cream, but like, what is it? But the description of it, it's like, it's chocolate ice cream with gummy worms. I can't remember, like hot fudge or something like that. It let's just say the title and how it looks when it comes out. I've never ordered it, but I've seen people order it, and it looks like what it's called scenario. And that is one of the special ice creams. I'm like, no, no. I would say any other name like fish bait would be better than dirty water. But actually, no, it's gummy worms and sour crawlers. You know, the trolley sour worms. It's gross. It's like, because I want to like really like, is this like every fisherman's choice of ice cream? Dirty water. Hey son, you want to go to Froggy's and get a dirty water? Well, tomorrow I am gonna make a joke to Mike, to one of my band members, because I tease him. Well, because he likes the song "Barbie Girl" by what is it, Aqua something. Um, it's very, I will say, I don't know what he listens to when he wants to be a kid at heart, but I know like he's got Baby Shark on there. I feel like one year, if we play again there next year, I'm gonna be like, Eric, can we hire a DJ? At least when we're not performing, there's like music playing in the background to get us energetic. Because really, you gotta have pride in having fun and to laugh. Because if you want to celebrate pride, you have to laugh. That's a priority. If you can't laugh at the show, you're not coming to the show. It's just how it is. I will say the thing tomorrow I am gonna get. I know he does. Hopefully he doesn't. But tomorrow I'm gonna get Mike, and I know how I'm gonna get him too. Because there's another specific ice cream they make at Froggy's, and knowing that Mike likes that song Barbie Girl, I know I'll get him tomorrow. It's gonna get him to laugh. It's not gonna be like a screw you. I'm angry. Raw. It's gonna be Mike. I want to tell you this. So I didn't bring one with me, but the ice cream place in Freiburg has an ice cream named after you. And then Mike will go, "What is it called?" I'll be like, "It's called the Princess." Now, this is the truth. There is a specialty ice cream at Froggy's called the Princess. It's got cotton candy flavored ice cream, cotton candy crunch for the cereal, and bubblegum ice cream. So that's right up Mike's alley. But I definitely, let's just say any businesses around Portland, I don't want to bring them up. I can't because But here's what I thought I would do to entertain everybody here tonight. I did do some singing earlier. Um, and I'll be really practicing throughout tomorrow, even when we pause, or at least when we break for lunch. But I thought I would Froggy's ice cream. I came up with this hilarious idea. Froggy's. And just so you know, I took care of my laundry too. So, all right, let's look at their website flavors. Dairy signature drinks. No, the cow. Built with love. Yep, so the princess. So this is Mike's ice cream. So it's cotton candy ice cream with strawberry soft serve, with strawberry sauce, cotton candy crunch, whipped cream, and a strawberry drizzle. So okay, that's right. The other one, other than dirty water, is called dirt and worms. Vanilla soft serve with hot fudge, Oreos, gummy worms, whipped cream, and more Oreos. Peanut butter and fluff nachos. Cookie Monster nachos. All right, here are the soft serve flavors. So I thought so my band on Friday, if they were associated with a certain flavor of ice cream that would match their personality. Now, there is new members in my band, and there's older members in my band. So, and I might even include some members that used to be in the band but not anymore. All right, let's start with I'm gonna start with Connor. Connor, I will say Connor's a great drummer, guitar player, all around musician, harmonica player. But if I had to state an ice cream that's associated with Connor's personality, it would definitely be blue raspberry. I say that because he's got that raz in his music. When he shakes the tambourine, it's got the raz. It's got the rattle and the raz. Um his approach with music is really well precise. So I would say a man with precision in hand percussion, blue raspberry would be Connors. Nope. Um I would say Ellen would be Tutti Frutti. Now, the reason why I say Tutti Frutti is because Ellen's a combination of genetic music ability. She does everything. She is everything. I mean, the fact that if we didn't, I hate to say it, but I want to say this because Ellen's a great person and she knows she is. But I feel like without any of us that Ellen goes to program with, I feel like a lot of us would not have, I would say, client based, a person of many talents, drums, piano, creating these epic synth chords, but to really lasso in on Ellen's, I would say, multi platinum abilities in music. She's one of the ancient ones that still thrives at this program. Honestly, she's a fossil within many clients who have been there before my time. She's a living fossil. But and a big thing that Ellen is that when we're all involved in projects and we're thinking of a drummer or a keyboard player that gets things done and gets things done accurately as a client, Ellen's knocking on your door, especially if you go to program with her. She's right there by the door. Now, the reason I said Tutti Frutti is because yes, people say, "Oh, it's cherry." But I want everybody to think of every red fruit and put all those red fruits together because it means something. Ellen does what she does. She's a combination of everything of an apple, strawberry, raspberry, a cherry. But you the thing is if you divide her to go somewhere in a band, she'll go. But Ellen has taken many paths too. As somebody who has lost an important family member in her life, honestly, as a band member and being in a band with Ellen, I would say a lot of the endurance and strength and honestly legacy of this band, the 4 year legacy, I cannot think of anybody else who has been in many projects, has been involved in many all of our music that we create, meaning that we like to throw in strawberries and apples when we make smoothies. The approach with Ellen is like that. If we want her involved in our projects, she's always open to doing them. And as I said, performing with Ellen is probably one of the best. If you don't get the opportunity to do it, she would be probably one of the first people I would approach if anybody decides to come to listen up or is starting out. And those of you that have seen Ellen play live with other bands, you know how incredible she is. But I will say one of the most inspirational stories that I personally would like to share about Ellen is that I remember her and I and another person, I can't remember who it was, we were broken up into a group, and Ellen was working. I don't know if this was part of her album that she's releasing in August. Um, I don't think it was, because she was doing a cover of a Phil Collins. I don't know if this album has covers on it or if this is an original album from Ellen, from her own, experiences, but she had played, and this was the first time I saw Ellen break hard, meaning over emotional, really crying. But I remember we had done song sharing to wrap up that our the remainder of the time, and oh no, it wasn't. She was recording a Phil Collins song, Against All Odds. But I would say I would say I don't even have to be in a room. I even hate to tell this story, but I mean, it's a good, you respect somebody so much and they break right in front of you. They're hanging on to that moment of, and hearing Ellen sing this song, but it was by one of her favorite idols, and hearing her sing that over the microphone. I was sitting like behind the keyboard, and I remember that day I was extremely afraid to ask her to play guitar on this song, because I didn't know how she was going to respond. Because that's the thing, you typically don't want to respond to somebody when they're going through a breakthrough like that. And I know at that time Ellen and I were developing a friendship, and I didn't want to ruin that. But many of the things I have to say about Ellen is she's been involved more in a lot of our music, and now we're passing it on to helping her work on her dream album, and that she has a show in August is. But I will say another thing about kind of a similar thing. It's really kind of basically not kind of, but if there's people that come in the US as US citizens, they register, and they're coming from like a place like Ireland or Scotland, um and they come into a restaurant, and they see a bunch of waiters who are American, who have been born, or who were always born in America, or were born in America. One of the best things to see in that kind of scenario is that you will have either, it's not so much that an Irish family can pay for a bill, because they would be able to pay for a bill probably 50 times out of 100, but it takes a real person from America to say, "Hey, I'll buy your family your lunch or your dinner or your breakfast." Now, yes, there is other ways. I mean, if there's a family coming overseas to live here in the US, or if they're just visiting, meaning that they go back home. I Let's just say that when when we go somewhere that's not in America, right? We go overseas. Are people going to do something like that special? Maybe, maybe not. But the thing is to remember is that it may not be breakfast, lunch, or a dinner they pay they pay forward. It might be something within that culture they might gift to you. Whether it's a trinket, an item, a piece of clothing. The thing is, it doesn't bother. I mean, it might bother some people when Ellen states this as a joke. Is like, did you get me a Diet Coke? Well, I'm not sure if Ellen has traveled, but I wouldn't get her an American Diet Coke. I would get her something overseas that maybe amplifies or is their own version of Diet Coke. If I lived in another country, that is not. But what the most important thing about Ellen to keep in mind is if you ever want to have a connection with her, or if you ever have a chance to have a connection with her, as I've learned in my life, is that when she's open to you and you ask her to be involved in a big project, a small project, I would say, but keep it limited with Ellen. Keep it limited, keep it straightforward. Because that's the thing, if you don't, Ellen won't get bothered by it either way. Ellen's music that she has collabed with us on, our music, being in a band, Ellen deserves, I feel like, a whole lot more than us always going up to her. I don't think she finds it annoying, but if she does, I know she'd let us know. But that's the thing, even if you're going somewhere else in the US, and you encounter people from another state and they're visiting yours as tourists, as going into a restaurant, you offer, hey, can I pay for your. I mean, if they actually walk into a restaurant, you often will, I would say, offer to pay for their lunch or dinner. Hey, buddy. But yeah, but I would say Paul is definitely pina colada. He's that tropical, warm, sunshine like guy. Um, Chris would definitely be orange. He's got a citrusy side to him. I think he can be a bit sour too at times. But Malachi would definitely be. I would say pistachio, not because his last name is Green, but Malachi's presence is very action based. He's always on the go, and he's someone that embraces life as it should be. It's all right if you get grass beneath your toes. or whatever's under your feet, don't freak out. What's that? Oh, I get paid tomorrow. Thanks.
I'm gonna go take a shower before I
Go to bed. Ah. But other people, like my buddy Andrew. Now Andrew, his ice cream flavor, I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him a good one. I'm not gonna give him a flavor. I'm gonna give him more of a specialty creation. I would say actually, if I were to give Andrew one for like a soft serve flavor, it would be German chocolate. And then chocolate cookie monster, chocolate cookie nachos. But Andrew, I will say those two ice creams are really good because I will say, and so in big uppercase letters, Andrew knows how to have fun. Andrew knows how to have fun. Now that he does. And let's just say Andrew is that Marvel or like fictional superhero that, let's just say, he doesn't have to use any hand gestures or sounds to make you smile. He can do it without those things. I've learn that Andrew brings a good time really if he just walks into a room. Sometimes I will say Andrew will catch you off guard with things too. It could be something simple like squeaking on like a stool, and he'll look up at you and be like, "You couldn't was it you couldn't hold it and until the end of the day, Tom?" But thinking that you farted on the stool where the stool actually rotates and it sounds like a fart, like a squeaky fart. And I wasn't expecting that joke to come out of Andrew either. Because that's the Andrew is somebody with humor. He waits for the right time and the right time, right place to do it. And to get people that who don't typically laugh get to laugh is hard to do. Andrew's a master at that. And I would say also all around, Andrew's a master singer. I will say if you were to have that man join any retired singer from like 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Motionless in White, Daughtry, Nickelback, I would say to that record, like say if like Nickelback lost Chad Kroger, Chris Daughtry's like, I'm gonna kind of like take a break. Andrew steps in. I'm gonna be like, fellas, have you not heard this guy? He hasn't been on American Idol, but he's good. Good. He's freaking phenomenal.
Combination of what? A what? Oh. She has coffee every day, Tom. Coffee and cream. I do too. So what would your combination be, Tom?
Apple cider and the Welch's sparkling cider.
Well, that's not much of a difference. The Welch's shit is apple anyways, right? Or grape? Tom?
Yeah. All right, I would say maybe like Gatorade and iced tea.
And ice cream?
Iced tea.
Iced tea. That might not be bad. It's definitely different. Have you ever had root beer float?
Yeah.
You have not.
Yeah, I've had a root beer float.
When? Technically, ice cream really isn't a drink, but that's one that doesn't really sound like it would be good. It is. I used to love those as a kid.
Thank you. Please.
But another I feel like thing Andrew would definitely be good at is being a weatherman, like Al Roker. Um, but I am gonna say this since a weatherman can't predict the weather. We all know the weather can't be predicted by a person, right? So at least Andrew can indicate whether on weekends we get brown rainbows or we get colorful rainbows. Um, but that's the thing though is like we schedule a day like a Saturday to excuse me, we schedule like a Saturday to hang out. And there's a brown rainbow. It's going to be a no go. We're canceling that Saturday. Let's just say the goal, the thing for Andrew to become a weatherman is that brown rainbows are cancellations, bright rainbows are yes, let's do it. But let's just say that actually going back to Chris's ice cream flavor, I was thinking like black raspberry or like sour cherry. Cause that's the thing. Chris is definitely his taste in what he likes is very, it's very cool, but it's also very much unique. It's like with Chris, the energy is like you're in a circus. Meaning that when you listen to his music, you feel like you're in the amusement mile. Because, Chris on all levels, he has that appearance about him where he knows how to have fun, but he knows how to really. I would actually freak out's probably not a good word. I mean, Chris knows how to make a situation very funny and silly, where it's like, it's very like, oh, this is entertaining, let's work with it. Let's let's hire this man right here to create the carnival of his dreams, but make sure he has it the way he likes. Let's get all the animatronic robotic suit furry suits in there. Let's get Weird Al Yankovic in there. Chris make knows how to make situations fun and awkward. That is a really good, I would say, description about Chris. Um, and the I will say the what he's brought to Listen Up since he's been at Listen Up. The amusement mile energy in the buzz saw like animatronic stuff is just like it's unbelievable because I don't think I've met somebody like Chris that just hits the amusement mile stuff with dead precision and has like a prismatic void of his music tastes but also his impressions. But we've got a couple other people to mention too in the band. But I typically do this to kind of like recognize everyone. Um, I'm careful usually talking about the staff, but like as far as my band goes, I think it would be safe as long as it's good things and not which I would never say anything bad about any of my because most of the people I'm in this band with are my friends, and I care a lot about them. But one of the let's see. All right, so Libby is another, and we'll say some stuff about Mike and Paul too. But Libby, I've worked with Libby many times, and I would say just as fun as Andrew. Libby loves having fun, even I mean, doing our was it "Don't Honk" song. She was part of that, but the thing is, Friday, so not tomorrow, but next Friday is a huge deal for Libby because it's her first band she's a part of, and it's her I think first performance with Listen Up. So, and I think the spot she has, she earned it. Um, and working with Libby has been a journey. It's been an adventure of knowing this girl's musical tastes, knowing really knowing that she has a cat that actually she talks about all day long, that her cat typically is very naughty when she's at program, or he'll take her slipper, chew up her slipper. But Libby's actually, I think, in the process of um is in the process of currently writing. I think she's almost done with it, but it's a song about her cat, like how Kathleen did Adoption Day for Willow. But Libby's working on a similar project, but it's called Nine Lives. What is it now? Nine Lives and Still. I can't remember, but it's a really unique title. Um, but Libby, as far as being the newest member of our band, actually, I would say she, as a musician, she is a really good listener. I mean, she's great at listening and she's great at picking up instructions right away. But Libby is that person of fun. But I thought to end the night tonight we would play some Hunter Call the Wild, but earlier I played a little bit of it. I still have a couple shirts to put away with my laundry and then I'm good, but I thought we would hunt in I'm trying to remember the reserve, but it's one of the early reserves that came in the game. It's called Rancho del Aro, which I'm pretty sure this map. So it's set in Mexico's Chihuahuan Desert and features 9 huntable species. And there's actually 2 species in this map that are actually that are only available to hunt on this map. One of them is the Rio Grande turkey. It's one of the many birds or many species of turkeys you can only hunt on one reserve, which is this one. And then there is the antelope jackrabbit. Of course, you can hunt colored. So in the Peru map, you can hunt colored peccary. Um, the ringneck pheasant, they're an animal that you can hunt in pretty much every reserve, including the Spain reserve. Coyotes, the Mexican bobcat, bighorn sheep. But I thought a couple of the animals we might target tonight. Um, I've only shot very few animals on this reserve. It's a reserve. Obviously, any reserve in that game is going to take you a while to fully do like a full lap. sometimes I do laps to kind of like take the scenes in. I do that really because I mean the watchtowers are great, but the watchtowers are really for like looking over, like looking at an overview of the land of a chunk of the land. But I don't really use those as much for like lookout. I mean, I don't typically use the lookout points or lookout towers as so much survey. I mean, I don't use those to like if there's an animal like close or if I see because sometimes even surveying the area it reveals like drinking zones and stuff like that. So I really use those if it's like a mission they say because a lot of missions will say survey the watchtower meaning claim the watchtower um which I do because sometimes the watchtowers you can actually access your weapons and your collars and kind of like organize those in any way you want at watchtowers and not just outposts. Um, but yeah, I mean the species list here. There's two that are specifically for this map, which is the Rio Grande turkey and the antelope jackrabbit. I'm thinking too that the Mexican bobcat, because I don't think we have bobcats in any of the reserves except for this one. Um, bighorn sheep. Um, I pretty sure we have, but it says here like each area. So like birds in flight, the pheasants and turkeys. Obviously, good shotgun hunting. But the only thing with the pheasants is that for a proper trophy score, you would have to shoot them as they're flying. So so if they're on land, they're not going to give you a trophy score on the pheasants. But the Busque Alto Lakes, the large lakes in the central western part of the map, are highly productive areas to spot mule deer and bighorn sheep. Um, and then if you go to the northern mountains, the high altitude ridges in the northeast are frequently visited by white-tailed deer and bighorn sheep. So I would say bobcats and the coyotes would be the night hunting animals would actually that come out much more at night because I still actually we might even go after a coyote but we just need to I did watch those of you that follow and I'll give you guys some resources of people to subscribe to um in just a second. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
You're right. Wonderful answer. Whatever happens. Thanks. Keep in touch.
So long, motherfucker.
Sadie.
You play too hard, Tom. I can handle them. I'm big mama kitty now. Finally. Everybody gonna do what I say. Y'all got me good. Let me rub some dirt on that.
You don't. Fucking touch me.
Hey, you get him now. I thought it all was meant to be. We're mates for life.
Wait. Nothing. Nothing's an answer. You're the worst thing that ever happened to me.
That's a fever, doctor.
Take one more sleep. Okay.
All Tom ain't your home no more. You're gonna be Panther Man and Ghost Man to our clan.
Fuck out of here.
Hot Shot's the only place that'll take you in.
That's the next time I see you. Or a shithole. Is 100 years from now? It's still be too goddamn soon.
I'll be waiting for you, Jason. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. You haven't heard a word I've said.
I'm preoccupied. Business.
Hi, Sadie. You're worried about meeting my grandma. She's keeping you waiting on purpose. You know she likes to make all my gentle callers nervous. Grandma, this is my friend and client, William Compton.
Caroline Bethlehem.
Caroline. Well, that was my wife's name. It's an honor and a gift to make your acquaintance, Miss Cliff.
Please sit.
Yeah, back soon.
Andrew.
Andrew. Bill. Portia.
There's tea in the kitchen, Portia.
Of course, true blood female.
That would be very kind. I'll have a Red Bull, please.
No, you won't. It's vulgar. You'll have sweet tea.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about your duty, dear.
Well, caught that flasher from Denville.
Oh, Andy, we should talk about that in the parlor.
You asked me, that's what I did.
Oh, no, no, no. I have tried, unsuccessfully, to teach my grandson the art of polite conversation.
But he is a man of the law. He is bound by civic responsibility to practice the art of self-inspection, which is entirely the opposite. Thanks.
Mr. Compton, you're good.
No, yes, we have to brush our teeth, wash face, and learn PJs. Oh,
Draw your circle in the light of the most cautious. And again. You said you were working late tonight. You got kids.
Got behind on a couple things. And,
Do you ship those?
yeah,
How'd you do that?
it's not exactly my idea. Typical. Hey, you ever boss Tom? You need emergency wolf assistance wrangler at Vamp.
Mail?
Yeah, they're pretty cooked. You gotta catch them, throw them underground real quick. Wow, just
You
get one
want the dog?
Yeah.
So he's okay?
for now. You know, they're dangerous, the doorstep, very power nest.
Yeah, I know.
All right, hey guys, sorry about that. So as we were discussing, so some of the animals in Hunter Call of the Wild are, I will say there's plenty of mule deer and white-tailed deer on pretty much all, like, I feel like most of the maps have them. But I thought tonight we would do something a bit interesting. But the other night I got my first gold wild boar. I had bought the Taiga reserve, which is in Siberia, but it's the only Russian map in the game. Um, it's a great map because they introduce. I'm pretty sure it's actual. As far as the lynx go, because the Siberian lynx is an animal on that map, but I'm pretty sure, unless they added lynx to the Elsky Ridge, but or the New England, because there is another reserve called, was it New England, but that reserve is like in New Hampshire, so it's New England White Mountains, but it's a New Hampshire map, which I have not played that one yet. That's still one I might get. Um, I plan to get all the map reserves and kind of save the Peru one for last. Um, because that one has like 10 new species and like 4 that we already have in existing maps. But let's look at the.
Excuse me, I am really not feeling very well.
Tell me about it over drink. Why? She walked away from me. I am a lawyer, Bill. I'm a serious. I'm not that stuff.
So we have the Eurasian brown bear, the Eurasian lynx, the gray wolf. So gray wolves we also have in a couple. We got so in the Yukon Valley there is gray wolves on that reserve. Moose, mountain reindeer, Siberian musk deer, and western capercaillie and wild boar. So the capercaillie is another new species like the lynx. But a capercaillie, those of you that don't know what these are, they are birds that I don't know how big they are, but they're very unique. Here they are. So they're actually a grouse. They're a species of grouse that are extremely large. So it says males fan their tails. So as you would see a male tom turkey do or a peacock, the males will even they will fan their tails and make popping sounds to attract females. Males are much larger and darker than females, with iridescent green chests and red eye combs, while females are mottled brown, mottled brown for camouflage. They're found across Europe and Asia. This species is an indicator of forest health, but its populations, especially in Central Europe and the UK, are declining and vulnerable. So adults can reach up to 6.5 pounds. So here's what they look like. So the picture, so the black capercaillie, that's the male, and then the one below that's a female. They call them hens. But this is definitely a decent sized bird. Um, they said they're the largest species of grouse in the world. And they actually do say, and so this exactly explains, but these birds are aggressive in that map, in that reserve. They will charge at you. Um, but it says due to a surge of testosterone driven to defend their territories and attract females, these birds lose their natural fear, aggressively charging at rivals, cars, or even humans who wander onto their breeding grounds. I actually want to see one charge at a car. The demon turkey. Yeah, see how he's putting his leg out? It's so the bird doesn't probably attack him. Yeah, see? Look at that thing. Imagine that coming at you. Jeez. Okay, so actually, they're also in the Revantuli coast, which is the Finland. reserve. So
resources farm and farm in Paris and plantation in Barbados. We have better one. This is the one place we own, and the door's never searched. So we get permission and where we would leave. And
they call them the horse of the woods.
It's my responsibility.
Okay, so to correct myself, so three different reserves in the game because they're also in the Scotland reserve too, which was a so the Scotland reserve came before the Astley or the Canada reserve or Canada map. But oh, this so I just saw this too. So it's a golden eagle. So I don't have. I'm not gonna have the volume turned up, but it's a golden eagle that dive bombs on these two male capercaillies. But it's 32 seconds. It's not a long video, but you can see how these capercaillie actually. One of them tries to fend off the golden eagle. I mean, golden eagles are used to freaking hunt wolves in Mongolia. But there's the capercaillie. They must be doing like, yep, they're that golden eagle just dive bombs. So yeah, there's the other male capercaillie like calling, fighting off the golden eagle. That golden eagle, he's like, "F you, man, F you." Two birds like that. One that does fly, but like when they're in the middle of like a mating fight, that golden eagle's like, "I want some of this." That is just unbelievable, and the fact how quickly that golden eagle dives is just really impressive. But excuse me. And then that's right. There's also another grouse called the there's also one called the sage grouse, which I think is a grouse from the tundra, the Arctic tundra. but they puff out. They've got like more of like a red belly, but they puff it out. Greater sage grouse right here. So they're actually from North America. The males are famous for their elaborate spring courtship dance on communal grounds called leeks, where they inflate yellow chest sacs and fan their tails to attract females. Yeah. This is definitely, I mean, male grouses actually show the Hakuna Matata. No kidding. But there's ones too that have like a red. There's the greater prairie chicken. I've seen those. Those guys are cool. So sage grouse are from Colorado, from the US. So we do have these up here. That would be awesome. That would be some like book novel of just somebody living in like the bush, or living in like the open prairie with a sage grouse, but just kind of like doing these like war tribal dances, you know. But let's it's 9:54, so I definitely want to go in and get. I don't know if we want to go after. Let's. Yeah, let's maybe. You know what I thought we would is we would. I think the two animals let's go for tonight is, let's go for the bighorn sheep and I'm going to go bighorn sheep and coyote. So let's see. Because the thing is, we're picking two animals that are going to be in different places, especially the bighorn sheep sharing the same environment in the reserve with whitetail and mule deer. Whereas the coyotes are going to be more of a nocturnal hunter but I typically look at an animal's drinking time, so let's look at coyote drinking times. I always get in the habit of one. Oh, that's right. We were going to talk about. So quickly, I'm going to show you guys. If you guys have the game, if you have Hunter Call of the Wild, and you want to, I guess, shoot a certain animal, whether at night or during the day, the best time I will say the best thing you would want to do in hunting a target animal is discovering every drinking zone that animal drinks from, or rest zone. Rest zones are also good because rest zones are typically where that target animal rests. And each drink zone will tell you the animal that drinks there. It could be more than one. Um, or if you're having a hard time, not so much a hard time, but say if you're going around like a big river or a pond or a lake for that matter, and you're like, sometimes I forget the drinking time because the thing is with a drinking zone, there's a drinking time. So, for example, if we were to look up, let's just say we were to look up, let's pick an animal from the reserve we're gonna hunt on tonight. Um, so a good one would be a coyote. So, but I will say this will be my first coyote. That I do know. I have not shot a coyote. I know. Will the okay. So it says drinking times are are 21 and okay. So I don't follow Will the Hunter, but here's his info. Coyotes are a class 2 animal, so they would follow under the lines of something like a jackal. Um, Drink time in Rancho del is 2100 to any okay. And the max level for a legendary coyote is level 9. Diamond rating would be a 56.87. So if it's that number or higher, that coyote is going to be a diamond. And the rare furs um, are albino, piebald, and melanistic. So albino is all white. Piebald has like patches of white, black, and brown. And then melanistic is black. It is a so yeah, let's tackle a coyote and it shows the good zones. So I'm guessing the bigger circles indicate. So a lot of the circles here are showing that a lot of the so Los Matrice, but I see this bigger circle here. Because this one looks like it's bigger than the other one, so we're gonna check this bigger circle out, and that is gonna be by like three little mini ponds with a lookout tower. So we're gonna keep an eye for that. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. What's wrong? What's wrong, Siri? What's wrong, Siri? No, I know. Good boy. All right, buddy. But a good YouTuber, if you're ever looking for hot spots of trying to find a certain animal or you're grinding for an animal, I watch her pretty much every day if I'm having an issue, or at least if I'm struggling with hotspots of certain animals, but her channel is called Lady Legend XO. But she's been playing Hunter Call of the Wild for 8 years. But she dedicates this channel specifically for the game, mainly learning everything. It says it's her. She writes it's her passion project. And she's right here. She has documented over. So these are all the diamond animals she has gotten. She has gotten 5,000 diamonds and 44 Great One animals to date.
You hear that, Renee? God's coming for you.
But yeah, she's from Canada, but she's definitely a big, I would say she's one of the best probably people that you could subscribe to, um that will give you tips of the game. I mean, she's all about this game. Like, her focus is all on this game because she got it for her son, but it sounds like her son liked it more, or she liked it and made this more of an enjoyment and a passion project. But yeah, and then there's another. So there's two other people I do watch that have really good videos. Another one is Flinter. That's his YouTube channel. Um, so Flinter, he's different. So he plays hunting games. So he's not. He's his channel's different. He doesn't just focus on Call of the Wild, but Way of the Hunter, which is a game for the PS5. Many other hunting games. Um, so he's also a really good one to watch. But I mean, this guy will play 25-year-old hunting games, but he's all about hunting. Like, his primary focus on his channel is hunting video games. Um, but he's also a really good YouTuber. And then there's one other one, Hunter. I'm trying to remember. So he's also a YouTuber out of Canada as well. Hunter. I think it's D2. I think maybe that's all I have to put in. I'm trying to remember his name. D223. I think it's D223. Tricolor the Wild. Hunter. So DD33. That's him, yep.
You just saved my best friend's life.
It's on the wrist. Nothing. Nothing.
But yeah, I mean the thing is, he focuses mainly on big game, or at least trophy animals. Like this guy is really good. If you want to go out and hunt a great one and you want to do it right, this guy is. I would say this guy and Lady Legend. Lady Legends, she teaches you like the basics and the essentials of grinding and skills you would need, because they go through something like herd management, which you don't need to herd manage to um
But that is not something I choose to participate in.
I have done research. In 1941, a family from Shreveport.
You are not romantically interested in me.
I'm not.
Actually, I terrify you. And from now on, when you look at me, you will have an uncontrollable urge to scream and run away.
wow. So he's actually in Africa. So this was about a couple years ago, but he shoots an albino Cape buffalo.
It's a dream.
Now for me, that'll be a dream come true.
Trying to eat that. No, you're not eating.
I like being next to you. Why are you laughing?
It's a rifle, really.
So about 9 months ago, he shot a 500-pound black bear, which is a legendary. So that would be a diamond
You know,
black bear.
gentle, sweet, but it's
And that appears to be, let's see where that is. I might. That looks like Silver Ridge.
he was the most human of all the vampires I've ever met.
Strange you miss so many. Would it be alright if I stayed until sunrise?
As long as you promise to keep your hands and your fangs to yourself.
I promise.
But for the stags, looks like this one he got was in the Scotland map. Um, Hunter DD. Yeah, 2 years ago. But I know, like Lady Legends, this guy is also from Canada. So, but this guy is really good.
World needs more beekeepers.
Same goddamn problem.
But he does the real deal though. So not just through the game. He is. It says he's a hunter, fisherman, trapper, and bow fisher. Meaning that he bow hunts for fish. He says he loves the outdoors. And I grew up hunting as a way of life and a way of survival. We would eat 3 meals a day without getting hungry in the winter. Come along with me as I try to replicate some of my skills in hunting with my gaming experience, the same as I hunt in real life. My channel is about playing some of the best online hunting games out there.
Plan with more of this. In the meantime, maybe there's a cosmetic solution. Maybe some extra lipstick.
I've tried that. Here's the problem.
He's also on Twitter as well, but wow, joined June 1st, 2012. But those are just really three good YouTubers. If you get into the game, they're very knowledgeable about it, about the game, and but yeah, I'm just gonna end this live because it's gonna take a while to upload. But I'm gonna go boot up Hunter Call of the Wild, and we're gonna set our sights on some coyotes and bighorn sheep.